We're black rebels, searching for freedom, trying to break these chains from my mind, trying to find the king that lies inside.
Hey everybody, I'm back with episode I think 7 of the Sit Down Podcast, and I'm here with Keandra McDole. And the main reason that I wanted to make sure that we bring her on is obviously to talk about Jeremy, Bam, and to give her as much time as possible to really state the whole story and what's going on with it right now. And I know from my end, I don't really know exactly what happened because there's been articles and everything.
Yep.
But it's kind of been hard for me to piece everything together to understand what really happened. I know you sent me that video where you wanted me to make sure I understood that part of it, which I did my homework there. But I guess can we start, if you're comfortable, with just starting maybe even like an hour or two before he got to where he was shot. Like what happened?
Okay,
so just don't even put in the like extra story. Just what actually happened, because you know.
Okay, so a day before, my brother had a girlfriend by the name of Sierra Holiday, who just put out there, the feds nor Wilmington police ever investigated her. They got into a big argument. She had a gun in her name for my brother. My brother gave her the money, but it was in her name. And she came out there, they got into a big argument. You know how females are males when you get the argument, give me my stuff, give me my stuff, give me my stuff.
Yep.
So she came out there mad at my brother over something, and she got the gun. She wanted her gun back that he had on her.
Mm-hmm.
It had a 9mm with an Army fatigue handle. I want to start off here. And so after she took the gun from him, he snatched her pocketbook. Like, if you don't give me my gun back, I'm not giving you your pocketbook back. So it is what it is. So they got the argument, and she left. I wasn't there, but this is what my family was telling me.
Okay.
So she left. And,
So this is like at the house?
This was the day before on Rodney Street.
Okay.
On Rodney Street. My family's house is on Rodney Street,
Yep.
so it was right there. So the next day, my brother used to always come outside like around 8 o'clock in the morning to come get my nephew Josiah, who was probably around 3 or 4 at that time. He always came around there to take him to the store in his wheelchair and get him a blue water ice, bring him back home, and then he'll go back and go home to the nursing home. He stayed at the nursing home that's right down the street from here.
Okay.
So that morning, that's what he did. He was supposed to be on his way back to the nursing home and take a urine sample because they was making sure he didn't have any infection because he had an infection or whatever. So before he left Rodney Street, he gave my Uncle Vincent, he owed my Uncle Vincent $100. So he gave my Uncle Vincent $100, which my Uncle Vincent said he was watching because my brother always pulled out his money. He should have had about $300 still in his pocket. And he should have had 2 ounces of weed. So next thing I know, him and OJ walked around a corner, and that was the last that anybody in my family seen them, is when they walked around a corner up Lancaster, I guess towards Tulip Street. So from when I'm getting out of the situation, being as though him and his girlfriend was arguing the day before, she must have called him because the pocketbook had all her information in it. Everything you could think of inside her female's pocketbook, that's what they had in their license, IDs, credit cards, whatever. So she must have called them on the way up there, wherever they was going to the store. I think that he was probably going to buy some wet. He used to smoke wet too.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that's where he was on his way going, him and OJ. So I'm guessing in the mix of somewhere between then, the girlfriend called and was like, look, where you at? So I can come pick up my pocketbook. They got my stuff in there or whatever. So I think, being as though he was up that way, because somebody up there that's where they used to get it from. That he just told her his location, like, this is where I'm at, meet me here.
Right.
So it happened to be ended up on Tulip Street. The not the nurse home, it was a daycare up there. The daycare lady stated that she seen a guy run past her daycare with brown skin with braids. She said he was running after she heard a shot. So Bam Bam met with Sierra. Her boyfriend had just got out of jail. He didn't even know she had a boyfriend. He had just got out of jail, and I guess she probably brought him with her because my brother and her, she knows she's a woman and whatever, so forth. I guess they got to tussling because he didn't give her the pocketbook back. The boy got involved. A gunshot went off.
Okay.
The gunshot went off. Now, I know my brother probably thought he was shot because he was paralyzed from the waist down, so he couldn't feel anything from the waist down. He got shot like in his thigh.
Okay.
So the guy who took the initial video, his name is Nate.
Okay.
He was out on the side detailing the car. He said he heard a shot. He said he came out of the garage, it's like an alleyway, and he
right behind the autos.
Right behind the alleyway. He used to work in that car dealership place where they used to detail cars. So he was out there detailing the car. He said he heard a shot. He came out. He said he looked over and he seen my brother on the ground with his pants down to his knees and his wheelchair flipped over.
This is the person who also took video.
The one who took the video.
He heard that, comes out, sees that.
Yes, he heard the shot, and that's what made him come out. Not the shot from the police officer, the shot from the robbery.
Right.
So he said he was, he asked my brother, you good, man? You good, man? He said, my brother said, yeah, man, I'm good. Can you help me flip my wheelchair over? He said, all right. He said he went over there and flipped my brother's wheelchair over. He said, my brother dragged himself over to his wheelchair. He said, again, his pants was still down to his knees. He said, my brother finally got back up into the wheelchair. He said, then that's when my brother like did a little, that's how he does, like, straighten up his back or something. He'd go like this to pull his pants up. He said, this is what he said. He said, cuz pulled his pants up. He said, I asked him again, are you good, man? He said, yeah, man, I'm good.
Do we know if he was shot at that point?
Nate said he didn't know. He said he was
just
worried about.
He just heard the shot and went out there.
Yep, he just heard the shot and went out there. He was shot at that point.
He was.
He got shot in his thigh.
Okay.
Now in the video, the ending of the video, everybody see blood on his buttocks area.
Okay, hold on. So this is from my dummies.
Go ahead, you're fine.
So Nate went out, heard the shot.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't sure whether or not he was shot at that time.
Yeah, he didn't know.
But
he
he
said
just
he didn't
kept on
see
doing
no
his
blood.
thing.
My brother had on 2 pair of pants that day too.
Gotcha.
2 pair of jeans.
Gotcha.
Don't ask me why. So he said he Bam Bam got back in the wheelchair. He asked him one time, you good, cuz? And he was like, Bam Bam was like, yeah, man, I'm good. Thanks. He said he left and went back into detailing. He said next thing he know, I guess like maybe 4 or 5 minutes later, he said he heard a whole bunch of sirens. He said me being nosy, he said we went out there and seen all this police. He said he was just
Go ahead.
He was just watching. Yep. He was just watching from then. He said then once he seen them pulling out guns and stuff, that's when he hit record. He said he started recording, and then that's where we all came in, and that's the video that we all seen.
That's what everyone saw.
And that's what everybody's seen. It was just a messy situation. Shotgun Joe was the last officer on the scene. It was already 6 officers up there. It was three officers, which is Lynch, Silva, and McCall.
Yeah.
Was already there, and they were training 3 female officers. All of them had a female officer who they was training that day.
Okay.
So that made 6. When Shotgun Joe came up, that made 7.
Okay.
That made 7 officers. So
they're all responding to a gunshot
They're
call?
all responding. The 911 caller called and said, can you get up here? There's a crazy man. He shot himself. It's a crazy man. He shot himself. You can hear, if you go on the website, you can hear the 911 caller and operator
going back and forth. So you can hear that whole call. Okay.
On the DOJ's report. I've been working through it, trying to release it all, but it's a lot on there. The operator was like, ma'am, the police are coming. Did you say that he had a gun? And she was like, yes, he got it in his hand. Oh my God, he's got it in his hands. And the 911 caller said, okay, ma'am, you just be safe. The police are going to take him out when they get there. And then you hear her say, oh no, Jesus, don't kill him.
Right.
So they had already had a suspicion that it was the call they said was a suicidal man. That was the initial call, suicidal man. They got up there, so they was already, expecting for him to have a gun in his hand, this, that, and the third.
Right.
The officers had already took cover and everything. They was just up there telling him, I guess, show me. You hear him say, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" And eventually, you don't hear them say nothing else about a gun. It's show me your hands. Show me your hands.
How much time is going on?
I never came to that conclusion. I'm guessing maybe like 8 to 10 minutes between everything.
Okay.
Then Shotgun Joe comes. He parks his car across on Lincoln side, but still on Tulip.
Yep.
You can see in the video. I posted a video of it yesterday. He immediately stops his brakes. You can see his car go like this, and then he gets out of the car, runs to the back, lifts his trunk up, grabs the shotgun. You can hear him cock it, and automatically runs across the street with the gun up in the hand. Never looked for cars. Never did anything. He never even took cover when he ran up to towards where my brother was. He said, show me your hands. Give me your hands. Boom. That was all within 3 seconds.
You hear all that on record?
All on record, yes. Show me your hands. Give me your hands. Boom. 3 seconds. By that time, the first shotgun was a shotgun blast to the neck. Later on...
And that was from him?
From Shotgun Joe, the last officer on the scene.
Right.
You hear him actually cock the gun again, the shotgun again. In the video, you can hear it if you pay attention. And
was he the only one who shot him?
Nope. No.
Go ahead.
Shotgun Joe shot him, and then later on in the investigation, the other officers were asked why did they discard their weapons. They said in the investigation report that they didn't know where the gunfire came from. They didn't know whether it came from my brother, a different civilian, or if it came from Joe. They don't know where it came from.
Okay.
So after that, then you hear them say no more. You don't hear them say anymore in the video, where's the gun, where's the gun, and show me your hands, show me your hands, show me your hands. And that's when they all shot him 16 more times.
How many different officers discharged their weapons?
4.
You know? 4.
4
After
officers.
the shotgun had already hit him?
Yep. 3. So it was Shotgun Joe was 1, and then 3 more. So it was 3 officers. Why didn't the female officers, who was right there with them officers, why didn't they shoot if it was such danger? They never shot a weapon.
How soon after the first shotgun blast went off, did the other shots come behind it?
What was it?
Was it very
30 seconds, 30 to 35
it's a long time,
seconds.
I feel like. I mean,
30 to 35 seconds before. Joseph DeLuce, we call him Shotgun Joe.
Why does he have that name? Just because of that incident?
Just
or
because
the
of
other
that
one?
incident.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, cool.
Shotgun Joe. He never took cover. Later on in the investigation report, they stated, they went back and questioned the officers, of course. And the other officers said they were yelling at DeLuce when he first got on the scene to take cover, take cover. We have the situation under control. Take cover, Joe. He said he didn't hear anything. He didn't hear anything they said because he had tunnel vision. So we only know these 4 officers' names. We don't know the other 3 female officers. Supposedly now
those are all 3 that were being trained.
Right.
Okay.
We don't know them 3. Supposedly one of the female officers, the trainees, was the one who flipped my brother over and found the gun underneath him. And the other 2 stated that one said they seen it coming through the bottom of his boxers. One said they seen, I believe, an imprint in his boxers. And then the other one, the one who took the gun, says she's seen it sticking out of his boxers.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
So my whole thing about that is that I don't understand if I know my brother didn't have a gun that day because he didn't have his gun. And his gun would have not been that gun that's in that picture, first of all. I asked the AG when I met her the first time, where is the picture of the gun? This is before they released it on the 28th. We've been saying this.
Like 38?
Yep. We've been saying this since day one. Where is the picture of the gun? Nobody ever showed us or anything like that. And their reason for not putting the picture in there is basically because they forgot. They didn't know that they didn't put it in an investigation report. How is that so? When that was your main headliner in every news is that he was killed because he was waving a gun. First, it was waving a gun. I have news articles that say he was waving a gun. One was suicidal. And then Joseph DeLuce said when Joseph DeLuce shot Jeremy McDole, he said the reason for him shooting Jeremy McDole is because he seen the tip of his gun coming out of his pants.
No.
So it just doesn't make sense at all. Like, only thing that we're asking is for these officers to be held accountable for what they did. Now, the DOJ, when Matt Dinn was Attorney General, he stated that he didn't think that Joseph DeLuce should ever be in a position where he has to carry a gun or basically be a police officer.
Why is that?
Because of the way that he responded to the scene. Because he was never called to the scene. He took it upon himself to come to the scene. He was never radioed to come to the scene.
Did he know Bam previously?
Yes. And let me tell you how my brother is no angel, okay? My brother sold weed. He loves selling weed, okay?
But see, even that is, especially as we're kind of growing into a place where it's legal all over the place. It's just like, that's not a big deal.
Wilmington police.
It's not even a deal.
Wilmington police harassed my brother so much. My brother is allergic to latex. They used to ride around with non-latex gloves in the trunk of their car.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So they, they know everybody on around this street. They know us, of course. We grew up there all of our life.
Right.
And it's just a messy situation. My thing is, my brother fell on the left side of his wheelchair. The left side of his wheelchair. Okay? How is it that this supposedly gun is 6 to 8 feet away from my brother's body on the right side, and then the wheelchair is crashed up into the back of the car. Now, I know the video of what happened to my brother, like I know anything. In the video, the way my brother fell out the wheelchair from the left side, his leg stopped the wheelchair. It was locked for one. Let me not forget to tell y'all, the wheelchair was locked. The wheelchair was locked. Why he fell this way? His leg stopped the wheelchair from even making a little turn if it wanted to. If you expand the video and bring it up real close, his arm in the back, the way he fell, stopped the back pedals.
Got you.
His wheelchair should still be facing the front, facing the street, not crashed up into the back of a building. Into the back of the car.
Gotcha.
You can watch the video. Anything that I say, please go back and I'm using their information. I'm using their black and white, not mine.
Right.
To make sure that people know the truth about what happened to Jeremy McDole that day. He was robbed. He was. They said they got a call for him being suicidal, which my brother was never suicidal. He's been in a wheelchair. My brother was not born and raised in a wheelchair. He got shot 6 times in the back at the age of 18. He had already lived a little bit of his life. He got shot 18 times and ended up in a wheelchair. And that never stopped my brother from doing anything. He just accepted it. My brother is not suicidal. My brother was never suicidal a day in his life.
So, what you're painting is that basically he got robbed, and then what happened was someone heard the gunshot. The lady called because she heard a gunshot.
No, make sure.
You tell me.
Make sure that you also know that they went back and investigated the 911 caller.
Right.
And she said in their investigation report on page 11.
Okay.
She never seen a gun. She was going off of what she heard.
Got you. That's what I wanted to make sure.
From that gunshot from the robbery.
So in the call, she never said that she saw a gun.
No.
She said,
in the call, she said he's a crazy man. He's a crazy man. He has a gun.
Because she heard the gunshot, or because she saw it?
Because she heard a gunshot, and he was the one out there.
Because all you hear is a pop, and then you see a guy out there in a wheelchair. So you assume, which kind of makes sense, but she never actually said, "I see a gun."
She said it in the 911 call.
But that's not what she meant.
That's what she said. So when you make a 911 call, you have to be very specific about everything, because they came out there expecting for Jeremy McDole to be having a gun on his person.
Gotcha.
She went back in the investigation report after being investigated by Wilmington Police Department and said she never seen a gun. She was going off of what she heard.
Yes. So it seems like when they arrived on the scene, really Shotgun Joe, when he arrived at the scene, he just came for blood. And
the 911 call operator already said they was going to take him out when they got there. That's in the investigation report and on the 911 call.
So he went in, guns blazing, literally.
Yes.
And knew what he did was wrong, and then you plant the gun.
Yes.
And move things around accordingly.
Yes.
Right?
Now, yes.
And the gun that they found was that was that old 38. And this was 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Almost 5 years on the 23rd of September.
Right.
So you wait almost 5 years to release these photos that I have already been asking about since day one.
Right. I mean, okay, I'm not like a gun expert, but I carry, and I think most people at this point don't have old 38s. And anyone who's like within 10 years of buying a gun,
it's not going to go.
You get a plastic something most of the time. Like, you don't have an old rusty. It was almost funny. Yes. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Am I?
No, you're not. That's when that picture came out.
Because you said his girl had a Glock. Or a 9
with an army
the,
fatigue
like people
handle.
that play, they design their guns
right.
like that. And so what kind of gun did he normally have? Do you know what he normally had?
A 9mm with an army fatigue.
Oh, that was his.
Handle.
I thought it was hers, but he wanted. Okay.
She borrowed it for him. She used her name. He paid for it, and she got it in her name for my brother.
Got you, but that was his piece.
That
so
was his piece.
If anything was found on him, it would have been that
one. That's why I kept saying.
Okay.
I kept saying, "Where is the picture of this gun?" Because if it was a
you're looking for the one. That's that's him. All right.
I would have got on the press and apologized. Like, yes, that is my brother's gun.
Yeah.
You know, and I would have publicly, just like I've been publicly saying everything else, I would have publicly got on there and told them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I know he did not have that gun. When I went to Wilmington Police, now it took them almost 2 years to release the evidence that my brother had on him, my brother's belongings.
Gotcha.
So I get down there, I'm inspecting, to get his belongings that I know we should have had.
Right.
They gave me his wheelchair. They gave me a book bag. I'm like, is his phone inside this book bag?
Because then you see all the texting back and forth and
the
potential
texting
robbery.
back and forth, yeah. And just to have his phone, period, anyway. That's his.
And
that's
you never saw that?
No. But after I watched the video recently and seen their pictures, I'm like, hold on. They told me they didn't have his phone. His phone is right there sitting on his wheelchair.
Oh, shit. Right.
His phone is... So where is his phone?
That's why I wanted to do this, because...
This whole time I thought that, okay, well, the phone got stolen in the robbery because they didn't want him to see the last phone call, I guess. I don't freaking know. But then when she released some photos on the 28th, I'm like, Mom, like, babe, look, there go his phone right there, his silver phone.
So all of these things started coming about when? Like these most recent things?
I mean...
in the past 6 months?
When
did they show the gun?
July 28th.
Of this year?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
This is all very recent. And when did you see the phone pics?
July 28th. It's their pictures.
So that's why you've been on 10 right now.
Yeah, it's their pictures. That's how I seen the phone. So everything that I've been saying since day one, I'm not sitting here saying my brother was an angel. Hell no, he smoked weed, he loved wet, and he sold weed too. And when he got robbed...
But do you realize that's not a big deal?
Listen.
Like, that's not really...
Listen.
There's people all in Westover Hills who love smoking weed.
I know.
And they have rich white boys who sell it, which is fine.
Guess what?
But you got to stop saying that, like, he wasn't perfect because of that. Now, if it was something, else, that's different. But the things that you're stating is not a big deal.
And guess
People
what?
do drugs everywhere.
In the police evidence, he didn't have his 2 ounces of weed neither. They said it was green flakes in his boxes and in his pants. It was green flakes. So let me tell you. So after I go pick up the evidence, so I'm looking. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, where's his phone? It was his wheelchair, his book bag where he kept his journal because he had to catheter himself, his catheter. Okay. It was a cup because remember I told you in the beginning he was supposed to be going back to the nursing home to take his piss back there.
Right.
So they get tested to see if he had any infections. And it was a pocketbook.
Oh shit.
With it was a black pocketbook with a bullet hole in it.
Oh shit. So
none of her information, nothing was in there, just an empty pocketbook.
Do you guys have a lawyer helping you right now with this stuff?
No, not
because you got to have somebody put all the pieces together clearly and state them.
We have a guy by the name of Terrence Jones.
I don't know him, but okay.
He works with the NAACP. He works for a law firm. He's an independent investigator.
Okay.
And stuff like that, but even with him, it's hard. Like our lawyers that we had for the lawsuit for the civil side was trash.
So bring me back to that actually, because I wanted to make sure I hit that, because this is actually a place where I'm totally ignorant. Like, so there was the civil trial.
Yes, $1.5 million.
So how is that? How come they were guilty? The city, who was guilty? Like, what was the settlement for? I've never understood like how you can win the settlement, but then everyone's walking away free. Yeah. I know you don't. You're like, what the hell? But
I understand. They said it's not to admit any fault. But
it was a settlement.
Understand it was a settlement. Yeah, because my mom was incarcerated at the time. So I was the one she signed power of attorney over to me. So while she was incarcerated, I did all the lawyer, everything you could think of, I did.
Yep.
And I get you. The city were trying to get us to settle for the $250,000 because they said that's all their insurance company.
So they know. They fucked up. You don't pay somebody $1.5 million and not know. That's a lot of money. And this is a small city. Like, this is a small city. This is a town. So if this town puts out 1.5, they fucked up.
They wanted me to sign a gag order. I call it a gag order.
Did you sign a gag?
I call it a gag order that they don't. If we accept this money, that I cannot mention or say anything else basically about my brother. We was in this negotiation phase for 2.5 weeks. I think a little longer because I'm not signing no damn gag order.
Right.
So, yeah. So I want to know, did the city, they never investigated Sierra Holiday, my brother's girlfriend at the time, the girls whose pocketbook that was still in evidence. What did they think my brother was carrying around pocketbooks in his book bag?
Right.
You know, we even told them, go look up her name and see if she has a gun registered under her name. And
just to
follow
prove
the
the
trail.
robbery part.
They said this gun was stolen from South Carolina. Now, I don't mean to put another story in here. This same gun ended up in Jonda Brown's son, Yaheem Harris, situation. This same 38. The same
What
one.
do you mean the same one? Like the same serial number?
I don't know the serial number.
But you know what I'm saying?
They said it was the same 38.
How's that possible?
This is why they are hoping that this story does not make it out of Delaware. I don't need to. His mom did. I fight with his mom.
But it was like another old 38, old rusty butt 38.
I fight with his mom, so I know.
Another old revolver.
Yes, the same gun. The same gun.
You know, that's the.
So now you understand.
That level
You're
of
understanding why I will not let this go. Why don't you just, Wilmington police, the DOJ, why don't y'all just make this right?
Right.
Say, I made a mistake. This is what happened. And let my mother be able to rest. You know, not me. Let my mother be able to rest. Allow my brother to be able to, what they say, just sleep in peace, rest in peace. My brother can't rest in peace until this is over. You know, that allow my mother to get some type of peace because she knows her son. I know my brother. We're a year apart. We're a year apart.
He's your older brother, right?
Yes, he was the oldest. I'm the second oldest. Do y'all job.
So, you've been obviously doing protesting and all that kind of stuff.
2015, October 2015. And then it's so scary because you have people who you don't know who to trust. Now, after everything happened with my brother, we had Wilmington police riding around, sticking up their middle fingers over our house. That's obviously I believe you, but it's unbelievable. That night after everything happened, me and my mother was sitting outside on Ronnie Street. At like 2:30, 3 o'clock, we had set up a memorial for Bama with candles and stuff. Next thing I know, Jay, all these police officers started coming out of nowhere with shotguns. My mom, only thing I remember my mom saying is, Kiki, do not move. Do not move. I said police officers. I never said cars, right? Police officers coming from it had to have been 15 of them. Coming from every way. We have a video. I'm going to see if I'm going to try to put it back up there. What happened? When I tell you, we were so scared with beams. Only thing you seen was a whole bunch of red dots.
What animals?
They said they had a 911 call that the neighbor had a gun.
Wow.
Next thing I know, everybody started coming out their houses because it's the hood. Police. Everybody started coming out with their phones, recording and everything. I had to get my uncle to check my brake lines on my car. Anytime I drove it, I was getting blocked spam calls threatening me, talking about if I don't stop doing what I'm doing for my brother, that I'm going to end up like him. Sticky notes on my car window when I come outside.
What?
Yes, these people is crazy. When I tell you Wilmington is crazy, and
But it's not just Wilmington, and that's the problem.
They're good though, but it's dangerous here.
No.
It's dangerous because we're so small. Everybody knows everybody. It's like you asked me about a lawyer. Do I have a lawyer helping them? What lawyer? At the end of the day, when they clock out, they all go to the same bar. Their kids play with each other. What lawyer?
Who's going to take that risk?
Our lawyers, while we was going back and forth with the city about the lawsuit, our lawyers told me, you might as well go ahead and settle for $250,000 because you're not going to get any more. I said, I'm not selling for nothing. It don't got nothing to do with the money. So you could take that $250. We're not settling. They told me, well, if you don't, we'll go to the prison and have your mom sign paperwork for the $250,000. And I said, no, you won't, because you see this piece of paper right here?
It's in your hands.
In my hand. No, I told him, you see this piece of paper right here? She signed her life away to me.
Right.
You can't go do a damn thing. Everybody works together. Now, our lawyer's office used to be on Market Street Mall, a little tiny little building. Guess where they at now? The riverfront. The riverfront. One of them buildings right there, that little one right there, they're at the riverfront.
Oh, by probation. The kids' probation used to be.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where they at. Everybody works together. You can't trust nobody. You just, and you know, nobody, Bobby Cummins apologized one time. That was when,
he was the chief at the time, right?
One time. Now, this was when his behind was about to leave. He apologized. He said, I just want to apologize for what happened to Jeremy McDole and send my condolences. That was the meeting that we were meeting with a bunch of people about the use of deadly force, about things that they were supposed to implement in reference to what happened to my brother to make sure nothing else happened. And that was the first time that nobody ever came to our house and said, Jeremy McDole has passed away. They already knew who my family was when they got on the scene. My grandmom had a heart attack on the scene because my brother's body laid out there for 4.5 hours on the ground with his sneakers out of a white sheet. She said she looked at his body and looked over, at the time she didn't know it was Bobby Cummins, looked over to Bobby Cummins and he had a smile on her face. She said her chest got real tight and they had to call her ambulance. Now she has like a stent or something in her heart. All from that situation.
What was his history with Shotgun Joe? Do you know anything, like any other interaction specifically? I'm curious.
No,
I mean, they knew him because they knew him.
They knew him. It was one incident. This one wasn't with Shotgun Joe though. Bam had just been in a wheelchair maybe 2.5 years. He was out on Ronnie Street selling weed, of course, and a cop pulled up on him. They found, I believe it was 5 bags of weed on him. So they put him in a car and put his wheelchair in the car. Now we thinking, okay, let's go down here and figure out his bail so we can bail him out, whatever. So we go down to the police station. He ain't there. We get a phone call that your brother is up here by Byers School and the police is dumping him out of his wheelchair. Get up there. My brother is laying on the ground by Byers School right up here. And his wheelchair is on the corner where the stop sign is. The lady said they told him to go get his wheelchair, and she said they looked over her and told her she better not go help him get it neither.
It's amazing how many just horrible stories you hear about the way that our police interact with people. And I'm always surprised and never surprised. It's like it's just all the fuck anyway. So what is the plan now to try and move the case further down the pipe?
I really want at least I want all the officers to be held accountable for what happened to my brother. But strongly I want Shotgun Joe, Joseph DeLuce, to be dealt with for what he did to my brother. Just like when one of us get in trouble. We get caught doing something where they lie and say we did, whatever the case may be. We go down turnkey. You got to sit in there wait and see the judge. We get a bail or we don't get a bail. If you bail out, you're going to jail and you're going to sit there for your trial date or whatever it is, and you be judged or whatever it is. Or the attorney general tells you that they don't have enough evidence to pursue your case, so they throw the whole thing out. You go home. Why are officers being held on a higher pedestal?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why can't they go through the same thing we go through? Mm-hmm. Now you say you can't charge him because of this one law that states the only thing an officer has to say is that they felt threatened for their life, and that's all it is. It doesn't matter the evidence. It doesn't matter anything, any video, whatever. Why can't these officers go through the same process I have to go through?
Because I know you've had some communication with Officer Seligman. Like, what is his input? Is he offering suggestions about what can be done? Like, does he have any good opinion? I mean, I know he supports the case, but like, has he said anything? Because he seemed to have some good perspective.
I like him because for one, he was a Wilmington police officer.
Right.
For two, he tells you what it is. You know, he doesn't sugarcoat anything to you, and that's what we need.
Does he offer any suggestions about what can be done, though?
He does offer suggestions about what could be done. But at the end of the day, this one law is stopping all of it.
because he feared for his life.
Now, I'm like, well,
And that
doesn't that mean something if he just, like the way Shotgun Joe came on the scene? Shouldn't that be enough right there? I mean, y'all evidence. What is protocol when you have a suspect that has a gun that's dead? What is the protocol of how to go about removing evidence from the scene? Now, from my understanding is that the only time an officer is to touch or move anything in a crime scene is if they feel as though the suspect or the people around them, you know, is the suspect going to pick it up and use it again, or if the people around them could get hurt.
It seems
he was dead. He was dead.
Right.
The medical examiner said he would have been dead within 2 minutes after the first shotgun to the neck.
I feel like, as a complete, just my opinion, it seems like that 38 is the key. Either way you cut it. Like, have you only seen a picture of it?
That's it. I don't know
But
where
you
the gun
haven't
came from. This year, you have to understand, this happened in 2015.
Right.
2020, here it is, July 28th. They don't even tell me they're releasing these photos. They just put them out there, and somebody called me like they just put out new evidence in Bam Bam's case. Get on there and read it now.
I feel like that is because once you
the video and the crime scene is not matching up at all.
Yeah, and I think that's where you need like a professional investigator to really
if you read the
put
news,
everything together.
But it's crazy because the feds claim they did an investigation into it.
I mean, fine. But
they didn't.
And that's what I'm saying. They can just. I don't.
You know, it's so easy. Look at the video. The video is the evidence, and then you have their evidence. Now, if I watch the video at the ending and see the way Jeremy McDole fell out of his wheelchair, remind you, if it was a gun on him, the way he fell out, it would have fell out of him, period. Weight, gravity.
Right.
And the pictures from their evidence from the crime scene and the pictures from the video are not adding up at all. Video is real life shit.
Right. I mean, if there's any way that you could put together like this, that, and then this versus that, and then this, and this is not his gun, all that shit, like,
it's
and
not.
present that.
It's not. If I knew my brother had a gun that day, I still would have, of course, you know, nobody deserves to be shot that many times, regardless of who you are or what you are. But to do this to an unarmed person, he's in a wheelchair. Do you know how many fights me and my brother got in? Guess what we do? Don't let him get close to you because his upper body is so strong. But if you get that chance to knock his ass out the wheelchair, cousin, sis, bro, do it. Knock him out. But don't let him get them long arms on you because it's a wrap like a burrito. You feel me? Like, come on. That's all y'all had to do.
That's the thing that is just
He was already hurt. He had already got shot. Now, we had to fight with the city to get his body released. We had to fight with the city because they did not want to release his body. They didn't want to release his body. Okay?
Was there any... Okay, so yeah, go back to that. I forgot about that already. Like, so when did you all figure out that he was shot before he got shot?
Okay. So by the time, for one, what the daycare lady said was, what was this black guy? This black guy with braids of dreads just ran right after the shot. He ran past the daycare. She said that's what made me. I put the kids on lockdown, then I went out, whatever. So because we went down there to ask them what was taking so long for Congos to get his body, because Congos was the one who was taking his body. We called down there, Congos didn't have it. Okay, time to call the medical examiners. They said they wasn't releasing his body yet. So we called somebody who got in contact with the governor. Release his body. What are y'all waiting for?
What the fuck?
They released his body. We sat there until Congos came and released his body and took it up to Congos. So we called Congos and we're like, okay, we need to look at Jeremy McDole's body.
Right.
We need to examine his body from head to toe. So they said they'll call us back. Call us back. I guess they seen his body and was like, oh no. So we had to sign paperwork when we got up there that they wasn't at fault for anything the way his body looked.
Okay.
Because his body looked a mess.
Of course. How could it not?
So it was me, a couple other people, my mom, my uncle, this, that, and the third. Yeah, we examined his body from head to toe. We flipped them over. Them pictures that I put on Facebook were from my phone. They wasn't from those are my phone. Those are real pictures of his body. The medical examiner his skull was already detached. He was already cut up. It was the most.
But how did they determine that he was shot, or did you figure out that he was shot
Okay.
before? Yeah.
Because all the bullets were numbered.
Okay.
Except for that one on the back of his thigh.
Oh. Help me out.
Now.
How do they number it? Like, what do you mean?
Like
they put an actual.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And why didn't they number that one?
Because it didn't come from the police officer's gun.
Gotcha.
It didn't come from their gun. I'm trying to pull up the picture now so that you can see how they numbered them. It didn't come from the police officers. It wasn't part of that.
It wasn't part of
the robbery. So there was no reason for them to number them. All of them were numbered 1 through 17. 1 through 17. I have so many pictures. 1 through 17 was numbered. Where are they at? Give me a second. But yeah, all of them was numbered 1 through 17.
But they just didn't number it?
They didn't number that one up.
And so you say to yourself, why didn't you number that one?
No, because it was already we already knew about the robbery, so we already figured that it was a shot from the robbery.
Okay.
So we just need to go up there and figure it out. You can just slide it to the side. See, that one says, I think, 16.
Okay.
All of them were numbered.
Gotcha. And they didn't number that one.
And we were looking, like we told the police officers, did y'all find his weed? Like, where he has stuff on him. Did he have weed on him, officer? I don't know. Did he have a phone on him? I don't know. Did he have his money on him? I don't know. None of that stuff, of course I'm not going to get the marijuana back, but none of that stuff was in the evidence at all. Only thing that was in there was the book bag, which that was the book bag that was on the back of his chair. The wheelchair. I did a video of that too. After I came back from the Woman to Police, I went live and did a video of all of that. And his journal, the pee cup, his catheters, and a pack of Capones and a pack of Newports.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
And that's what I want people to understand. Like, you have to go back, if you have the time to go back and just read the very first part of the case.
Mm-hmm. But could you put together, like, with whoever, whenever you're kind of presenting this to somebody who needs to, like, the AG or whatever, like,
I did.
Did you put together, like, a very clear, because I don't know, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
what did they say? Like,
they cannot open the case back up off with no new evidence. So when I go in there tomorrow at 4 o'clock,
what's their argument?
2 new witnesses.
What's their proof that gun is his gun? They
The
just say
officers.
it was on him. They just
The
say
officers.
that was on him, and they just take it at that.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Going there
And you said to her,
tomorrow-
that's not his gun.
Yeah, we said that.
Uh-huh.
We said that to Matt Den.
Right.
That whatever gun y'all have,
That's
if
not
it ain't
his.
a gun 9mm with on fatigue handle, it's not his.
He only had one gun?
He only had one gun. One.
So, you continue to protest.
Yeah.
What else can you do?
Just taking it up a notch. I mean, I don't get no peace, so they ain't neither.
No.
So, we'll be at the governor's house soon.
What can people do to help?
I don't even know anymore. Just support us in everything that we do, because this fight is long. It's been draining.
I can only imagine.
It is very hard, especially when you talk about dealing with going after the police, and then it's just not the police, because Kathy Jennings, that's her signature that she signed off on pictures. So instead of you doing your job and investigating again before you release them pictures, no, you signed off on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have some type of accountability in this too. She said she needed new evidence. The guy who did the ballistics on my brother's case, Carl Rome.
Mm-hmm.
He's on his way to jail now for falsifying evidence and for lying about putting time in that he never worked. Carl Rome, Google his name, mugshot big as that.
Is he an officer, or that's his
He's
his
the
job?
ballistic. No, that's his job. He was the guy from the investigative something for ballistic.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. this is exactly why I wanted to do this, because I didn't understand all the details as a whole.
That's what I tell people. Don't assume anything. I'm an open book when it comes to my brother.
Right.
I don't write nothing down. I don't prepare. I ain't got to, because everything I'm telling you is the truth.
Right.
I don't have to. See, when you lie, you have to write down everything you lie about, because you never know when it's going to come back up.
Right.
I have nothing to lie about. Like, this is the truth.
You've had a consistent
if you
story
see
the
me,
whole time.
yeah, of course, it's all the same.
Right.
Whenever you see me, if you see me, don't be afraid. I look mean as hell, but I'm not. Ask me questions. I will answer anything.
But I really think that if you had almost like a PowerPoint documentation.
I did it.
You did. You did do that. You said you did that.
Yes. So tomorrow, this is a different interview. When we went to go meet with Kathy Jennings, you know, she came in with the crocodile tears. Oh, I'm so sorry at what happened to Jeremy McDole. My heart goes out to the fit. Let's cut all this out.
What are you going to do?
We're not going to sit here and we're not going to go through the emotions, okay?
What are you going to do?
You need to reopen Jeremy McDole's case, and this is the reason why.
What is the reason why?
2 witnesses and the witnesses of the gun. We already knew that wasn't his gun. This was before the pictures even came out.
There's got to be somewhere there's some lawyer. What's the guy who they did the movie about? The guy from Delaware who's helping the young boys.
Somebody gave me Ben Crump's number and told me contact Ben Crump.
There's somebody who can put that gun in more than one place.
The gun was stolen from South Carolina, and it ended up in Jeremy McDole's pants and ended up in the car Yaheem Harris was driving.
Once you prove that, that's it. But you got to get your hands on it. And
how?
I don't know. There's got to be
obviously the gun.
Can a lawyer have an injunction? Can a lawyer say this is an injunction? I want to see all the evidence, and I need to see that gun.
Obviously, the gun got legs and arms, because
you know what I'm saying?
Bouncing and running up in every crime scene.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Nope.
Between you and Yaheem, that to me is the place. And I don't know who might listen to this and be like, I know a guy, but that's just that.
We had Billy Murphy in the beginning.
Okay.
But he was in the Freddie Gray case. He was a lawyer of the Freddie Gray case.
Yeah.
But see, when you start doing stuff like this, it's hard to know who's here for the cameras, who's here for BSing, and who's going to get the damn job done. We had to let him go. Because this had nothing to do with money. We've been poor our whole life. So I want the murderers to be held accountable for what happened to my brother. That wasn't even a murder, it was an execution in broad daylight in the alleyway. Tulip Street is a darn alleyway.
Yeah.
All the cameras they took down up there are gone and never been put back up. And then we have 2 new witnesses though, who were there on the scene. They were trying to go up Tulip Street, but couldn't, because an officer had came this way and an officer had came that way. So the officer had them boxed in. So they had no choice but to sit there and watch. Now at the other meeting that we had with Attorney General, we wanted to give her that information. But she got to make some type of commitment first. Because the boy who took the initial video got harassed. They went to his house.
What did they do to him?
They went to his house. The women and police went to his house after they found out that he was the one who did the video and they didn't have it in their person. They went to his house and harassed them and wanted every phone from everybody in his household because they didn't know which phone it was. They scared him off. He was terrified.
That's what they do.
And then did you see the news article? 3 years after everything that happened to my brother, 2 years, the news people contacted him, and he said, they never investigated me. They never came to me and asked me any questions. It's in a newspaper article. If you type in Jeremy McDole on Google, that newspaper article, scroll down a little bit, it'll pop up. The boy who took the video stated that Wilmington police or no investigator came and investigated him about Jeremy McDole's death.
Because he was like, honestly, he's just like, I'm out.
No, he never said that. Nope, they never came. He just got harassed by Wilmington police for the phone because they wanted the phone. Nobody ever wanted to hear. Nobody ever wanted to hear his point of view or what he's seen.
No one investigated the person who was there at the time.
So what type of investigation did you do? The investigation report was 32 pages long.
And all of those guys are retired now?
Yes, 2016. Silva, I do believe Silva and Lynch retired.
I feel like I see
Joseph DeLuz, he didn't retire. He just, I guess they found some, I don't know, he's not there.
Lynch, the female one?
I don't know. That's another thing. Thank you. We don't know what none of these officers look like.
Oh, literally?
Literally.
Wow.
Nobody knows what none of these officers look like to this day.
Wow.
Always ask for that. Pictures. Not just the names, pictures. If you go back on old protests from 2015, that was one of the main things, main key points that we were screaming at our protests.
I imagine that you would just pick him out from across 100, like you know him. Wow.
Nope. And then McCall is on leave because guess what? He's the officer who shot Yaheem Harris 4 times. He's on leave. You want to know why? He's hollering he got PSTD.
And that's possible, but either way, he is a problem.
Now you got PSTD after something might be happening to you because of what you did to Yaheem Harris.
Well, he might have had
Yaheem Harris, his case got thrown out because he changed the barrel of his gun. It's a mess. It's scary because these cops are crazy. And then when you get pulled over by one for a traffic violation, and my car is in my name. This is the first year ever. Well, it was last year. It's the first year ever had one of my cars in my names. They automatically are hostile to me.
So, I guess the main thing I'm trying to figure out is what else you can do and what anyone watching this can do to help out.
The only thing that we can do as of now is get this law changed. Because what people don't understand is with this one law that states the only thing an officer has to do is say he feels threatened for his life. Regardless of the evidence, he's getting away with it. We have to have that law changed. Because if not, it's going to be plenty more Jeremy McDole's. Plenty more. Because they are not held accountable for what they're doing. This law was put into place to protect good cops. It's not protecting good cops. It's only protecting bad cops. And we have to go. This law has been here since the 60s.
Well, I think even with like Trayvon Martin, it's the same thing. Like the citizens have a similar situation, and it's bad.
Yeah.
Because anyone can scream, "I'm scared," and then start lighting somebody up unjustifiably. And then when you have the power of the police and they can cover things up and investigate other people, it's obviously a bad situation.
All around, all for a 911 call that stated it was a man who was suicidal or crazy man. How did a mental health call escalate to execution? And he had no gun. And then I think something should happen to the 911 caller. Because you never seen a gun. Yeah. You got on the phone and locked into that story that he was waving a gun. He got it in his hand. You have to hear her story. Sounds so good. He got it in his hands. Then later on you're investigated and you say, no, I never actually seen a gun. I was just going off of what I heard. And then the other 3 officers, y'all shot y'all guns off because y'all said that y'all didn't know where the shotgun bullet came from. How is that if you were looking right at Jeremy McDole? How is it? Did you ever see him point a gun? Did you ever see him shoot a gun? Did you ever see a gun? No. If y'all seen a gun the minute y'all got on the scene, y'all would have did what y'all had to do.
Yeah, and that's like where
you were telling your Joseph DeLuce to take cover.
That's where you're training.
He didn't even come on the scene like he's supposed to do, proper. Come on the scene and get information on what's going on. Take cover by the other officers and get information. No, he came running like a bat out of hell, gave 2 commands. The second command is bull. Anyway, show me your hands. Give me your hands. The officer says, give me your hands. Right. Boom. That was it. 3rd second. My brother was dead. 3rd second. The only reason why my brother stayed up in a wheelchair as long as he did was because them bullets from them officers was keeping his body in the wheelchair. If you see when they stopped, it's when his body flipped over and hit the ground.
You know, we've had a rough summer as it is.
Yes.
And nobody wants any more tearing shit up and rioting, but it just seems like this is one of those it's just as ugly as
We
some of the
don't
stuff
get
that's
no
become
support.
national. It's a weird, like,
But
you
we
know,
don't, because Delaware is very good with keeping stuff in Delaware.
They
When I
really
start
are.
mentioning outside help, I can pay attention to the police at my protests. When I start mentioning, outside help coming in, we have a different number of police than we would with me saying, okay, come on, y'all, join us, this day and that day. If I mention outside help, we have like 80 police officers there.
when you say outside help, what do you mean?
People from out of state coming in to help us fight.
Okay,
like maybe
okay.
different Black Lives Matter
Got
groups
you.
or just different people from Philly and stuff like that. They
And
don't
the
like
thing
outside.
is, like, there's nothing. I mean, I haven't participated in any of the protests that you've had for Jeremy,
They
but
all
I've
been
seen.
peaceful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I've seen them live when you're on Facebook, and it's not crazy at all. It's
They be tempting us. The police do be tempting us.
But that's what they do. Because I
Yeah.
told Mikey, I was like,
Yeah.
yo, because I was at the Rockford Park, and I was texting. I was like, yo, be easy, because they're waiting to have they're waiting for one of y'all to do some dumb
Yep.
shit. Not even dumb shit, but
Yep.
they're pushing buttons so that you can
Oh,
snap,
yeah.
so that they can overreact. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
And we don't give them that. We do not give them
Good.
that. You know, but I'm to the point now is I'm like, well, we need, and maybe it does need to go to another, and it needs to go another step higher.
What could that step
Because they wasn't listening to nothing until people started tearing shit up,
Right.
looting, rioting. The
Right.
next step,
And that's the
we
thing.
have
That's
did
the only
everything.
thing. That's the
next
thing.
step.
Whenever you fucking act up, you don't want to do that. But that's when you get. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, that was actually what. You know, if motherfuckers didn't tear the city up,
No.
there would be no discussion of
Nothing.
change.
Nothing.
It would just been another day. And
Nothing
you got to
at
come to
all.
grips with that
Nothing
too.
at
So it's
all.
like, you want to be reasonable.
I was pissed off when they were doing all of that. And people say not for George Floyd, but the header on the page was George Floyd sparked. It should have been Jeremy McDole sparked.
Why do you say that? I'm not.
Because
yeah.
I say this because how can we fight for other things throughout other cities and towns when we got stuff that's knocking on our back door where we're at, and we're not doing anything but going to church as opposed to nothing is changing with us. Nothing. My brother was born and raised here. My brother helped a lot of people. I hated that about him. I'm sorry. But he will go dead broke, not have anything to help somebody if they're hungry, to help somebody if they needed a pair of shoes. He walked a grown man with a pair of crazy shoes on hanging to the side. Oh, I need to go get him some shoes. Oh, that ain't cool, man. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, my brother, like, everybody knew him. But yet everybody knew him, yet
I think
nobody.
that's why on one hand, I don't think he's gotten anywhere near enough support. But
He
on the
hasn't.
other hand,
No.
everyone knew him.
Yeah.
I mean, even the video
And
that I
that's
did
what hurts.
Right.
That's what hurts, because how many people knew him? How many people spoke to him every day or anything? Nobody even comes to see my mom anymore. None of his friends and stuff. They don't check on my mom. They don't check on his nieces and nephews. They don't. Everybody just went on with their daily lives. But I believe that I felt disrespected when I heard them looting and rioting in the name of George Floyd. Like, don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? My heart goes out to George Floyd and his family, just like I told George Floyd's uncle, because I talked to him on the phone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How did that?
My heart goes out to you. Like,
How did that connection happen?
Sonia Jones.
Huh?
She
yeah.
has, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She was doing not a podcast, but her radio station. She was doing a story on police brutality with families and how has it changed you and stuff like that. And even George Floyd's uncle said it's crazy. He said, you remember that press release with all of them stars? Who was it? Jamie Foxx and this, that, and the third. Who was there? I was like, yeah. I was like, what can I do to get there? He like, don't.
Why?
Don't. He said, each and every one of them right there got paid to be there.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That's fucked. I'm sorry.
He said, you're fine. He said,
God
damn.
damn.
I had to ask, who was it? Was it Tyrese?
Holy
he
shit.
said he was asking Tyrese, are you here for this occasion? I think he said Tyrese. Are you here for this occasion or are you here for the Grammys? Like, why do you have on this $5,000 outfit for something like this? Like, yeah.
That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah. And just like he said he said they us. We're them.
Right. That's the thing. And I think that specifically with what's been going on with George
And
Floyd.
he said it doesn't really have anything to really do with race. I mean, like I tell people, if you Google police brutality, you have people, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, kids, white people.
I said before, when those 3 or 4 black cops snatched those goddamn 2 college kids out of their cars in Atlanta,
Yep.
They were smaller than me and they were kids.
They were kids.
I'm like, geez, you're just animals. Like, they're
They were
behaving like
kids.
animals. Like,
They were kids. But you have to understand, this isn't just in Delaware, it's everywhere.
That's the thing.
Think about a bank robber, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If he get away
right.
5 times with robbing a bank, he
Keep on
gonna
fucking
keep
robbing
on
them
doing
shits,
it.
right.
It's that easy, just like a police officer. If they keep getting away with these murders, they're gonna keep doing it. They know that they have the law backing them. That's the sad part about it. They have the law backing them. So what do they have to lose? They're still gonna be working. They're still going to be getting their pension. And then the crazy part about it is, if an officer is let go from one precinct, he can go somewhere else and get a job at a different precinct.
No, we've seen that. Yeah,
It just doesn't. I don't support body cameras. I'm sorry.
Why not?
I don't support body cameras until we have laws that's behind body cameras.
Because it doesn't matter.
Laws that state
Right.
if any officer, him or her, cut off their body cameras at any given time, then whatever crime that they are being accused for is the crime that they get. If we don't have that or a law behind them, body cameras are pointless. We have plenty. Laquan McDonald. We have so many cases where body cameras the officer had on body cameras. Either the footage got lost, or the precinct took 3 years to release it.
Yeah.
We need some type of law to back these body cameras up. Heck, almost in every police brutality situation, it was cell phone footage of what happened. And it did what? Nothing.
No.
So if there's not no type of laws backing up these body cameras, then it's pointless. It's pointless.
I think you're right. And I get
It all
what...
boils down to laws.
But you got to make the right ones. Like the ones, listen. I appreciate the changes that we've seen in that, like, they've banned chokeholds and that, like,
But we just had a video that was released, the day before yesterday, with Officer Morano, I think his name is Morano, choking a black guy down there, I believe it was on East Side, by the neck.
You still got to actually prosecute.
Right.
Like, that's the problem.
Right.
And
You still have to prosecute.
Like, the law's there, but, okay, you got to use it.
Yeah, writing Black Lives Matter on the street, or changing a street's name to Black Lives Matter Way, or hanging up a flag. I'm not excited about that.
It's like, I agree.
I'm not excited about that.
I get the symbolic significance of it, but at the end of the day, if that's the only thing that happens, we're still in the same place, obviously.
My point exactly. So what happens? We have Black Lives Matter written on the street, and an altercation that right there, where does Black Lives Matter, a couple years down the road happens, and another unarmed person is murdered by police. Now you got bloodshed on Black Lives Matter. What happens? Nothing, because we still have the same laws.
The same laws.
Nothing's going to happen.
And nobody's
Their officers are not being held accountable.
But then the AG, like, no one's taking any courage to address these things.
No, they're not. She claims that she put in for the law to be changed through legislation and this, that, and the third. But I mean, I believe in transparency. Show me.
Sure.
Just like you release everything else in the paper.
That's a good point.
Show me the paperwork where you put something in there.
Yeah.
Because as of right now, I don't see nothing but lip sync.
Yeah.
Just like we told her at our protest, you got on a Zoom meeting the day before and said you come out and talk to protesters. We're protesters right now. At your front
right
door.
here, hello.
At your front door. Come out and talk to us.
Right.
Come out.
Right.
It's just a whole bunch of lip sync. It's sad. It's sad that we have to beg, act, scream, shout, stomp, put our hands up to ask for the basic stuff that we are entitled to. We as the people are entitled to.
And I think obviously race is a factor, but what you said about it's not just a black thing. I mean, and I think you remember the video of the white boy who was in a hotel room on his knees, and it's like, They do this shit to everybody,
They're a
and it's
gang.
not all of them. I know it's not the majority of them, but it's like it's too many. It's too many.
This is my thing.
Okay.
I don't believe that it's not all of them because at the end of the day, if my little brothers is doing something wrong, I'm gonna point them out. You're doing something wrong. You're fucking up. Get your shit together.
Right.
Dirty clothes. You have a hamper full of clean clothes, and you throw 5 pieces of dirty clothes in this hamper. What happens?
I know.
It's all dirty. So if these good officers are so good, then what is so hard about weeding out the bad ones? You took an oath. You took an oath to protect and serve. Their oath that I say now is they took an oath to aim, shoot, and kill. That's it.
Nah, I mean, when you look at that,
Like-
when you look at the George Floyd video, all those officers watching him choke that dude
And
out.
then that new video just got released.
With that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we don't have new video. See, this is what I don't understand about our people. When I say our people, I'm talking about the people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so easy for them to listen to what the police say and listen to what they put out in the news instead of doing your own investigation? Do your own homework. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Is this adding up? You were blessed with eyes, ears, a brain. Use it.
No, what? Listen.
People still come up to me talking about my brother was waving a gun at the police. What video
do you
did
mean?
you see with him waving a gun? Yes, all these white people that I go back and forth with white people. Talking about, well, he was waving a gun that day. Ma'am,
He wasn't.
come here for a minute.
And look at the video.
Calm down and let's watch this video, okay?
And what's the reaction
Ma'am.
once they see the video?
Oh, well, they say he had a gun.
They say he
They
had
say he had a gun. Ma'am,
Yeah.
but they told you that he was waving a gun, and I just showed you black and white, and they're black and white. That he
Right.
wasn't waving no gun. Now because he had a gun.
Right.
No, ma'am. Use your own brain. You have a good day, ma'am, and I'm gonna pray for you.
Yeah.
Cause it just doesn't make any sense. It's
And that's, again, this is part of why I wanted to specifically let you say all the specifics, because even me, I didn't really understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine for the person who doesn't really pay attention to things and it just kind of all rolled. I just read the news journal. It's a news journal. I've been reading
Yeah.
news journals since I was a little kid. You know, and I'm 65 years old. It's just what I read. You know, no one's taking the time to really dig into it, and I understand why.
and this isn't the first. I have been interviewed by. We not even going to count. Like it's so many people, and people still don't pay attention. Even after this, you still gonna have people say he was waving a gun or he had a gun.
Right.
My great grandfather wouldn't have carried a gun like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, great grandfather.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on now.
Like I can understand. The only time that I could see anyone. How old was he when he passed?
28.
You might be able to pass that gun off on like a 13-year-old who was like trying to get his first gun, like just anything. There ain't nobody over the age of 20 who's gonna walk around the streets with that rusty
First
butt.
of all, you're gonna
like,
be scared it's not gonna
It's
fire.
not gonna work. Like nobody carries a 6-shot 38 revolver, and then this is not like
Right.
1965.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
My point exactly.
Like,
My point exactly.
Nobody. Not
And she made
I can see
Attorney
it was a new
General-
one, maybe because he had like a thing for revolvers, but that's an old ass goddamn.
The
38.
Attorney General made a comment that has been sticking with me. Like, it has been sticking with me that, well, it's a 5-year statute of limitation on your brother's case.
So
and
just
my
let it go.
uncle,
Tick, tick, tick,
my
tick.
uncle
You
immediately said, hold up. He got offensive, hold up. Ain't no limitation on murder. You know what I'm saying? So we already know what they're trying to do. They're trying to play this like football and run the clock out.
Yep.
So that's why I said we got to take this up a notch. We have to do something. Kiki, what haven't you done through this whole process? You know what? I never went to the Attorney General's house and protest. Let's go do that. So everything that you see from here on out till September 23rd
Why then? What's it? Oh, yeah. Okay.
makes 5 years.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay.
Makes 5 years.
Right.
It's going to be something that we have not done.
Well, is there anything I can do with this once I post it up there? Like, you know what I
Just
mean?
put it
Tag
up
people
there.
or what? I don't know.
Just put it up there, and the people is gonna grab the people, the
People
right
are gonna
people
fucking
attention.
watch it.
Yeah, it's gonna
Right.
grab the right people's attention. Like that's all we can do. You know, only thing I'm asking, I'm gonna do a march. I normally do. We do a lot in the community. We just don't let people know. We do Easter egg hunts every year. We do book bag giveaways. We do so every September, since everything happened with Bam Bam, we try to do like a big block party. We get the streets blocked off, and we do all this, that, and the third. Now
Right
we
on
have
Rodney,
a lot
right?
of people on Rodney here. We have a lot of people that come out, but this year I'm not doing it
Okay.
because I'm tired of people not coming out and helping. You know, like it gets turned that people come out when it's food involved or free anything involved. You know, but you won't come out. Take a half an hour to 45 minutes of your day to come out and say justice for Bam Bam. That's all I ask. Justice for Jeremy McDole. Demand that your city officials get up off their asses and do their jobs. That's all I'm asking is for them to do their jobs. But we can't even get people out to do that. We can't. Now, you've seen the protests for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. So it's just like me and my family, it's been a lonely road, but we don't stop doing what we're doing. We continue doing it, you know, because we're fighting for him. We're fighting
Right.
for his justice. He can't sleep in peace until he gets justice. So my kids are 1 and 2. They say justice for Jeremy, justice for Bam Bam, you know, and when I die, my kids are going to find a way to keep their uncle's name alive. You know, he only got to meet one of our kids. That's my sister's son, and she got 4 now. He's never met my kids. You know, it's hard.
Well, if you think of more stuff that anyone can do, obviously post about it. I'm gonna get this up ASAP.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
I almost
to be
don't
able
think
to
it's
tell a
enough.
story.
I almost don't think it's enough. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
this means a lot because it gives us the opportunity. It gives my brother the opportunity to tell y'all his story. My job is to finish his story. You know, I allow him to speak through me. I don't have any specific religion, so you won't hear me talk a lot about, you know, like God this and God that, but
yep.
I know my brother is not resting in peace. I know my brother is still here, and he's here. He's not going to rest in peace until he believes he got his justice.
I think I just everything in whatever I know. It's that gun at 38. That's where you're gonna find.
But they don't want to. They don't want to. They
It's
stay
gotta be
away from that.
Man,
Anytime you mention a gun, you see their face get red.
That's what I'm saying.
You
That's
can
what
see
I'm
little
saying.
sweat on the nose and stuff.
and
and
there's
I'm
a
like,
reason for that.
Right.
There's a reason for
Well,
that.
why do we have to do all of this for them to just simply do their job?
Man, you
And
listen.
then the guy who did the ballistic report, he's a damn criminal.
Yeah, there's too many pieces that don't make sense. You know, I'm not religious either, but you know, I pray that somebody watches this video that, you know, wants to help out in a formal way with the law, someone who can subpoena evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Someone who can say, I need to have my hands on that gat and I want to see it and I want to fully investigate everything around it. That to me is where it is.
It looks so old on it. Look at what happened.
It's
Look
a
like
joke.
it would have
It's a joke.
a serial number on
right. Right, exactly. It looks like somebody that you would buy. It looks like something you would buy at an antique gun show.
Yep.
To say this is what you could buy in 1970.
In 1901, yeah. I was at a family function. All of us was at a family function when that came out, and I'm just like.
But did you almost laugh?
Yeah, I did.
You
laugh.
literally laughed,
I'm
right?
like, yo, what the fuck is this? I'm like, my boyfriend was like that right there. I'm like, babe, look at this shit.
This is ridiculous.
I was like, do you see this? Like, he said, what the hell is that? Is that going to fall apart the minute somebody investigates and look at this shit? Like, this, it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, yeah.
And the
Almost
thing
5
about
years
that
later.
is, how fucking ballsy do you have to be to use that ridiculous,
motherfucking
that
gun.
kind of a ridiculous piece of evidence and know that that's going to pass? Like, this is what you're going to use to try to prove it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Because it's them working for them.
Yeah.
Them working for them. the police. I don't think that day through the investigation that the police should have been the ones doing the questioning all that on other police officers.
Yeah,
I think that's BS, especially on a police involved shooting. Like, I don't think that should have been the procedure or protocol. Right. And then by that time, hell, Wilmington police already did their investigation. So no matter if you go in and say, well, let's get them independent to go investigate, it's already tainted by then. Mm-hmm. I've been asking. I put in a FOIA act. I'm gonna leave over this. I put in a FOIA act because I wanted pictures of the gun.
You put in a what?
FIOA act. Freedom of Speech Act.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put in one of those, and I wanted pictures of the gun. I wanted all evidence in reference to my brother's case, videos, police reports. Mm-hmm. I mainly wanted the actual police transcripts. What we have in the investigation report is the police saying what they saying, and then them figuring out a way to make it make sense. Mm-hmm. I want their actual transcripts of what they actually said that day out of their mouth, with no editing, no nothing. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a tape recording or whether it's written on damn paper, I want it.
Mm-hmm. Freelance lawyers, freelance paralegals, anyone who knows what they're doing.
And you know what
help
I think
out.
It's going to take? I would rather somebody who is just now getting into being a lawyer,
like a fresh graduate,
or something, because they're not
just passed
scared.
the bar.
Yeah, they're not scared. They haven't been in the game long enough to make friends.
There's got to be somebody. But I don't.
Me neither. I don't know neither. I mean, I don't know. What's saving these officers is that law. Mm-hmm. So I'm putting the focus on what it should be, the gun. Mm-hmm. Because, for one, he couldn't have felt threatened. How could you see the barrel of a gun in Jeremy McDole's pants and we couldn't see it?
Especially if it was that gun.
Right. Seriously, you're right, but seriously.
You saw this. Like, that's...
It's only right.
And he's sitting down. Like, it's impossible. I mean, I'm skinny, and you would see it.
And my brother is skinnier than you. My brother is my size. Okay. His upper body was strong because this is all he had that worked. Right. His lower body was tiny, real tiny and fragile. Mm-hmm. There's no way. He was wearing 2 pairs of jeans that day, not pants, jeans.
Gotcha.
So it's like I don't know. I want to know why they never interviewed Sierra Holiday, his supposedly girlfriend, that day.
Well, thank you for sharing the story.
Thank you.
And I'm going to get it out ASAP.
Thank you. Tomorrow is the day.
Yeah, what's tomorrow? Oh, yeah.
We go meet with Attorney General tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay. Best of luck.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow up with you, though.
We're going to need it.